General Hospital latest update. Big shocker in General Hospital. Kelly Thiebaud returns. But is Britt Westbourne back from the dead? Or will she play someone new? Fans are buzzing with wild theories, from twisted science to mistaken diagnoses. Meanwhile, Cody's being paid to seduce Ava. Yes, really, and courtroom drama heats up as Willow and Michael battle for custody. Over in Hollywood, soap icon Eva LaRue breaks her silence in a gripping documentary about surviving a 12-year stalker nightmare. My Nightmare Stalker premieres later this year on Paramount+, shedding light on a global crisis often ignored. From Port Charles twists to real-life trauma, this week's soap news is packed with jaw-dropping turns both on and off screen. Subscribe for more GH scoop and survivor stories that hit hard. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital shocker, Kelly Thiebaud back, Britt twist in Port Charles? General Hospital fans are excited that Kelly Thiebaud is returning to the ABC soap. Of course, you know she played Britt Westbourne on and off from 2012 until she was killed by Heather Weber, Allie Mills, aka The Hook, in 2023. But the million-dollar question is, are they bringing Britt back from the dead? Or is she coming on as a new character or somebody we've met before? We're going to talk about 5 reasons why Kelly should definitely return as Britt. Why Kelly Thiebaud's return to General Hospital is exciting news. Me personally, I'm super excited that Kelly Thiebaud is back home at General Hospital. She took off for a while to do some different things, a lot of traveling. After leaving when Britt died, Kelly was on the hit primetime series Station 19. She was Eva Vasquez in 10 episodes spanned across 2020 to 2022. Now she's back, and really soon, by the way. We don't have to wait forever because her first scenes air in July. So in just a few weeks we'll have her back as Britt or somebody else. And I can't wait. The dramatic exit of Britt Westbourne, Huntington's disease, and The Hook. If you don't recall, Britt was already dying of Huntington's disease on GH. She had inherited the illness from her wicked dad, Faison, and her symptoms were getting increasingly worse. Remember Jason Morgan, Steve Burton had gone to the doctor with her, all that stuff, and then, to facilitate Kelly's exit, so she could take that role on ABC series Station 19, they killed Britt. If you don't recall, she saved Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, from The Hook. But in the struggle to save the teenager from crazy Heather, Britt was scratched by that poison hook. It was a fast and relatively painless death, not a slow, painful death like she was facing with Huntington's plus Britt. Died in her mom Liesl Albrecht's, Kathleen Gotti, arms. Speculation on Britt's return, resurrection, or new role for Kelly Thiebaud. Now with Kelly coming back, everybody's clamoring to know, are they bringing back Britt against all odds? Or is Kelly going to be a new character or maybe a recast from the past rather than Britt? So recently, Kelly shared she's excited, grateful to be back at General Hospital. She promised a wild ride for fans. Check out her video post about her return to hear it in her own words. So she's clearly excited for everybody to see what her storyline is and how GH is bringing her back and in what capacity. She just started filming for General Hospital the first week of June, and she's going to be back on screen in July, so just a few weeks until we see her, and Kelly used the phrase bringing me back. So that's open to interpretation. She might just mean herself as an actress or the character of Britt Westbourne. We'll have to wait and see. But I think it'd be great to have Britt back. 5 reasons why Britt Westbourne should return to General Hospital. So just right off the bat, don't forget Dr. Liesl Albrecht. Her brilliant and dangerous mother could have found a way to save her precious Britt's life. And it would be cool to have Liesl back too. By the way, I also miss her mom. And they could say that Britt's alive. Because Dr. O used some twisted science to freeze Britt until she could cure her. Liesl has always been up to all kinds of wacky science and experiments. So I will say that it would be kind of distasteful. Because Britt also had Huntington's disease, which is incurable. However, General Hospital could say Britt was misdiagnosed, and then Liesl froze her, cured her from the hook poison, and nursed her back to health and addressed whatever it was that was masquerading as Huntington's. They would have to say it wasn't Huntington's to bring her back, because otherwise it just wouldn't work. They can't cure something that is incurable in real life. Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne, reviving a popular romance. So, second, another reason to bring Kelly back, as Britt is a lot of people really liked her as Jason's love interest. Because he has had zero romance or action since he's returned, and Britt and Jason had great chemistry. Lots of people were shipping them. And Jason was absolutely crushed when he came back to Port Charles after himself being presumed dead and heard that Britt had been murdered. He was devastated, and he actually showed some emotion, which is kind of a big deal for Jason. So, he'd be happy if Britt turned out to be alive. She had real feelings for Jason, and there was a lot of potential there. And now with Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson back, he's claimed his baby with Sasha Gilmore, Sophia Matson. So Jason is free of that obligation. And I liked him with Britt. Brad Cooper and Britt Westbourne, rekindling mischief in Port Charles. So third reason to bring Kelly back as Britt is to revive that mischievous fun with her bad boy bestie Brad Cooper, Perry Shen. Of course, he'd come running back to Port Charles if Britt turned up alive and they could start making trouble again. You know, Brad's still up to shady antics. Last we saw he had been blackmailing Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, and then he got blackmailed by Portia, and last we saw Brad, he ratted Portia out to Drew Kane Quartermain, Cameron Matheson, for the ketamine. He paid off Brad, and then on Drew's orders he left town. So he might come back when Britt's alive, or Brad might find Britt, and then he brings her back. That'd be pretty cool. Emma Scorpio Drake's return, confronting Britt Westbourne's past actions. So the fourth reason to bring her back is Britt Westbourne is Emma Scorpio Drake, Braden Bruner, is now back in Port Charles. You may remember before Robin Scorpio came back from the dead, Emma's dad, Patrick Drake, Jason Thompson, was dating Britt and his daughter Emma, then played by Brooklyn Silzer, absolutely despised Britt. Emma could just smell the villainy on Britt, and let's be fair, Britt was definitely rotten back then, and she couldn't stand Emma at first. Britt called Emma a little brat when really she was just grieving the loss of her mom Robin Scorpio, presumed dead at the time. But over time Emma and Britt bonded, and they got close and they cared about each other a lot. But then Britt betrayed Patrick by stealing Lulu Spencer's, Alexa Havens Bruning, embryo and impregnating herself. Britt then claimed it was her and Patrick's son, she named him Ben. And then later tried to switch it around and claim it was Nicholas Cassidy's, Tyler Christopher, son, and then of course the baby went back to Lulu. So, Emma might have some things to say to Britt now that she's all grown up, and that could be fun. Rocco Falconeri and Lulu Spencer, the fallout from Britt's return. And last but certainly not least, if Kelly's playing her old character back from the dead, it would rattle Rocco Falconeri, Finn Francis Carr, and his mom Lulu. You may remember little baby Ben born from Lulu's stolen embryo is actually Rocco. Yeah, if you weren't watching then or forgot, Britt birthed him, so Rocco might give Britt a whole lot of teen attitude and Lulu would be furious to see her face. So Britt's return could be really soapy for her and Lulu and Rocco and Emma and Jason and many others. But again, you know, the ethical dilemma, Huntington's disease and Britt's possible resurrection. Bringing Kelly Thiebaud back as Britt is really problematic because of the Huntington's disease diagnosis. And GH cannot in good conscience pretend to cure the incurable without ticking people off. The only way to ethically bring Kelly back as Britt is to say she was misdiagnosed and had something else. But there are other things. For instance, Wilson's disease is another genetic disorder that can be mistakenly diagnosed as Huntington's, and that disease is curable. So, if they want Kelly to return as Britt, there is a way to do it tastefully with a medical explanation for the Huntington's. It's not bringing her back from the hook poison, that's standard soap stuff. It's bringing Britt back from death when she had a real-life terminal illness, that's the problem. So, I still kind of think she's going to be a recast or someone new, and we're going to talk about that later than this week in another video. But bottom line, no matter who Kelly ends up playing, absolutely thrilled to have her back, probably as excited as she is to be back. Today's next update, General Hospital Tuesday, June 10th recap. Cody seduces Ava for money. General Hospital recap for Tuesday, June 10th, reveals that Cody Bell, Josh Kelly, got roped into a plot to seduce Ava Jerome, Maura West, for money while Willow Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, clinic visit brought questions. After Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott saw Marco Rios, Adrian Anchondo, leaving, she quizzed Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, about her plans. Tracy suspected this involved Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens Bruning, but she pushed vengeful Brooklyn to concentrate on her marriage and family instead. However, Brooklyn seemed determined to fight for what she felt was right. At the gallery, Ava wanted to pull out all the stops for some swanky event, so Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ollie, was surprised over money no longer being a problem. Talk turned to Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, and the trust Kai Taylor, Jens Austin Astrup, had placed in him, so Ava suggested it was wise to be careful when it came to the cunning congressman. At the Metro Court pool, Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Monsey, pushed Cody to seduce Ava and vowed to make it worth his while. Christina acted like she was doing this for Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, who didn't approve of her dad's relationship with Ava. Christina wanted Cody to come between Ava and Rick Lansing, Rick Hurst, so Cody said he'd need $1,000 upfront to test the waters. Since Christina was on board with that, she handed over Ava's forgotten sunglasses and suggested Cody could use them to kick off his seduction effort. At GH, Lucky Spencer, Jonathan Jackson, gave Isaiah Gannon, Sandy Wilson, the deed to a lakeside cabin property that Luke Spencer, Anthony Geary, left to him. It was a way to repay Isaiah on his way out of town, so Lucky explained why he was leaving as they said their goodbyes. In Portia Robinson's Brooke Kerr office, Kai quizzed her about what he was missing when it came to Drew and all the animosity. Portia mentioned how Curtis Ashford, Donnell Turner, used to be friends with Drew, but he changed after his ordeal at Pentonville. Portia wanted Kai to understand the risks of being exploited, so she gave him a lot to think about. As for Kai and Trina's romance, Portia suggested Drew didn't have to be an issue for them. Next, Martin Gray, Michael E. Knight, returned and gave Laura Collins, Jeannie Francis, updates on how things had been going for him off-canvas. After Martin talked about getting thrown in jail, he admitted he was broke thanks to his ex-wives. Now Martin was ready for a fresh start, but he needed somewhere to stay while he got back on his feet. Laura happily opened her home to Martin, who planned to make a full financial recovery and suggested Tracy was going to make that happen. Lucky later stopped by with bad news for Laura, who quickly assumed he must be leaving town again. Back with Portia, she left Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, a voicemail about how they needed to find Jacinda, Paige Herschel, and hurled her phone across the room in a fit of rage. Isaiah came around the corner and seemed concerned about Portia lashing out. In the courtroom, Willow remained on the stand and complained that she shouldn't have to choose between Drew and the kids. After Diane Miller, Carolyn Hennessy, rehashed the nursery hookup, she highlighted the fact that Drew talked Willow into keeping Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, family away after he was injured. Willow painted Michael as someone controlling and suggested he abandoned his children by choosing to get treated in a clinic so far away. Diane basically acted like that was ridiculous since Michael went to Germany because it was the best option for his third-degree burns. There was also some talk about the DC trip that Willow didn't get Michael's approval on. Michael didn't get a say on Willow moving the kids into Drew's place either. When pressed, Diane got Willow to admit that Wiley Corinthos, Byron Weaver, and Amelia Corinthos, Sequoia and Serenity Mork-Mako, sometimes asked to go back to their other home. Rick got Willow to acknowledge that she'd made mistakes, but he helped her focus on the fact that she was a devoted mother. Willow felt she had no choice but to go after sole custody since Michael refused to compromise despite a brief glimmer of hope. Once the judge adjourned, the custody case became a waiting game for Willow and Michael. After Michael stepped aside with Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, he questioned if Willow really came to see him in Germany. Carly confirmed that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, suggested it, so Michael was baffled over not being notified. As for Willow, she complained to Nina about Michael lying since she didn't believe Drew would ever manipulate Wiley. Meanwhile, Drew spoke privately with Rick about his Wiley stunt and felt certain that Willow was going to pull off a win in court. General Hospital spoilers say all Drew's secrets will come back to bite him sooner or later, so stay tuned. Today's next update, from soap star to survivor. Eva LaRue's unforgettable stalker story finally told. Eva LaRue is opening up about the danger she was in for over 12 years. The Eva LaRue Story, a powerful true crime documentary that reveals the harrowing 12-year ordeal endured by General Hospital, Natalia, All My Children, Maria, The Young and the Restless, Celeste, and CSI, Miami star Eva LaRue and her daughter, Kaya. The film dives deep into their terrifying experience with a relentless stalker, offering a gripping look at one of Hollywood's most disturbing real-life cases. A Mother's Love. Deadline reported that the documentary is currently in production by Forte Entertainment and See It Now Studios. It features exclusive interviews with LaRue as she shares the emotional toll, life-threatening encounters, and the strength it took to protect her family and survive. My Nightmare Stalker. The Eva LaRue story is set to premiere later this year, only on Paramount+. Eva's extraordinary talent as an actress is matched only by her remarkable courage. After a relentless 12-year ordeal that put both her and her daughter in life-threatening danger, she has chosen to confront the unimaginable with strength and offers hope for those living in the shadow of fear, said executive producer Susan Zirinsky, president of See It Now Studios. We're honored to help tell her story, a journey so harrowing and chilling that it's impossible to imagine it's not straight from a script page of a crime thriller. Bringing light to darkness. This documentary shares a deeply painful time in my and my daughter's life, an experience shared by nearly 13.5 million stalking victims each year, said LaRue. Stalking is a global crisis, often involving violence and lasting psychological trauma. LaRue pointed out that many stalker victims do not get justice. The reasons include weak laws, limited awareness, and the challenge of proving these crimes. Ultimately, the actress hopes to raise awareness and promote meaningful change by telling her harrowing story. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.